Over the week, when it came to, I think it was on Thursday or Wednesday, I received a message all the way from Christchurch, Charlene Divya, I know you're logging in this morning, also joining us for the service. And she just she said, no, I've just finished calling my parents to let them know I've actually just received an email a few minutes ago that I've got my, PR for New Zealand, and congratulations. And she said it has been, going through the teaching, listening through, and applying it all. And this is the same lady who always say that, she's so excited to go and get her pay or look forward to her payday, not because of the money that she's going to receive, but because of the money she's going to invest back into God's kingdom on her time. And she's the one who actually, sent me that post, and she said, I'm so excited just to see what God begins to unfold, and the power of tithing and the power of prayer. And not only that, by Friday, receive another call all the way from New Zealand, the Tawaki family. Yes. Thank you, Tangas Church, Auntie Maggie, Gloria and Samtia. They called also to advise that they've been advised, they've got their PR papers as well, and they were praying at the beach, and they called, to advise the answered prayers. So, as we're going through prayers, your prayers may be answered, your prayers, you may have seen what God has begun to do. All of you may not be able to give us a feedback. And that is what God can do, because prayer is a relationship between you and your God. It can be very little, very minute. Like for you school students listening today, going through your exam, you finish your papers. I've got my grandchildren, and their last paper, some of them is on Monday. A few move on to because it's staggered over the weeks. And you may be going through your exam, and sometimes it's difficult because the school wasn't normal, so the learning wasn't really normal and consistent. And it's all depending on you and on how much you have learned over the period of disturbed study. But now to be sitting on the exam sometimes can be very, very difficult for you to cope. And that's where prayer comes in. And some of you may have started doing that prayer and have seen what God has done and continue to do. So prayer is key because it helps and works for everybody, no matter how young you are and no matter how old you are like us. Prayer works for everybody. Anyone who is willing and anybody who believes. You don't have to be a pastor and a preacher for you to pray. No, you just have to be a special person or just a normal human being, a normal child with the Spirit of God inside of you. When you speak, your God is listening. According to His word in Psalm 17:6, it says, I call out to my Lord and He inclines His ears to listen to my prayer. So always remember, whenever you're calling out, whenever you're praying, whenever you're crying out to God, imagine His ears is inclined. His ears is actually inclined. You know what inclined is? It's like bending over. It's like listening, taking the time and concentrating to listen. And that's what God does for you. So whatever request you have, no matter how big and how small, nothing is ever too big and nothing is ever too small for Him to do for you. So prayer is key. And we always push for prayer because sometimes individually you don't have your prayer life or your prayer relationship with God, but you rely on your pastor's prayer or your mom's prayer or your parents' prayer. It's always like, okay, can you pray for me? Or when you say, okay, can we go to to the pastor? Or can you call the pastor? The prayer is every individual needs the means of communication with God. Yes, you can go to your pastor, but you need to create that relationship with God. You need to empower yourself that you're approaching a God and you're telling Him everything and anything about your life. Don't ever think, like even Angasa level, we used to joke about it. Sometimes when I come to the room and he will say, oh, I really want to eat nunga. Like a normal, simple conversation. Oh, I really want to eat fish. So, okay, I'm not cooking any fish today. Or this morning, we don't have that kind of fish now. And it's amazing. A few times when I come and I leave the bedroom and I walk, to the dining room, somebody's knocking on the door with either the basin of fish, exactly the fish you mentioned. Yeah, it may sound crazy. It may sound so, like insignificant, but that's just how God is. It can be to the very thing that you never imagined it can happen, and it can be to the very little thing that you thought to yourself, oh, He's not bothered with this thing. Why should I tell Him? No, He is bothered with every little things of your life. The state of your thought, the desire of your heart, the achievement level that you want to go. Nothing is ever too impossible with Him, as He promises in His word. So prayer is very important. We want to emphasize prayer because we have been praying. We have a program on miracles to happen. We have a church program and people calling in for prayer. We have the special prayer line for prayer. Yeah, we are doing that because we are serving the people. But we would like to take this time and also go through the few Sundays that we have done to teach you that prayer is within you. You don't need to call us for us to. It's not about us. It's not about the church. It's all about you and your relationship with God. When you believe